So, good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. So, yesterday we had created a couple of tables in staging area, and today we're going to go further and all the data which is being transferred from OLTP to stage. Now, today we're going to take all the stage data and dump into data warehouse. Okay, the first interview questions the people are going to ask you is that how did you load the data to the data warehouse? This is very, very important. Now, you know already data warehouse is going to contain dimensional table data and fact table data. When we say dimension table data and fact table data, so what tables have to be dumped with the data first? When they ask, you have to know that the data of dimension table, because dimension tables will have a primary keys and the link is given to the factor table. Now the question is that how do you load the data into data warehousing? So the answer is, first you have to load all dimension tables and then you have to load the data to the factor tables. This is the first thing. The second thing you need to say that all dimension table have to be implemented with incremental loading. Okay, all the dimension table have to be implemented with incremental loading, and all the factor tables will be having full loading of data. So this is the second thing you have to talk about it when the people are asking about how you're going to load the data into data warehousing applications. Now we had done the phase one, load data from OLTP to stage. This has been done. Now we had product master, customer master, category master. So now you have stage product master, stage customer master, stage category master, and stage sales. Now today we're going to start the phase number two, load data from stage two data warehousing applications. Now in this diagram, so this is the stage and here data warehouse. Once the data warehouse is ready, then you have to go to SSIS and create a cube and to perform multi-dimensional processing of data. Now, dim product table from OLTP, we have to create dim product table is now package need to be created for this. Now in this we need to perform incremental loading. For the dim customer table also, we have to create one SSIS package, and for this also the data will be dumped using the package. Dim location table, just now I had completed the dim location table, not now, so already we have done, I think, right? But simple insert manual statements I had used. Then dim timetable, I think yesterday's class we had discussed about how you can use a stored proc, or some people will use Excel sheets to generate the dates and they're going to dump it. So that is very, very complex thing. If you're not very good at the coding, then you may use Excel sheet, or you may use ready-made stored procs which are available in a net or web. You can download them and modify it and you run. However, I have done it. Then the fact sales table also we have to create this. So one package we have to create. So for this, you need not have incremental loading. So this is full loading. It's very simple. And only these two packages I have to create. And for these two, dim product and dim customer, I have to perform incremental loading. So incremental loading, you know how to do it, right? So you have to either use lookup, or you have to use slowly changing dimensions, or you may use merge statement of SQL Server, or you may use lot of other components also of SSIS can be used, or you may also write a stored procs. Lot of things are available to perform incremental loading. Remember one point, incremental loading means purely for dimension tables. Okay, so two packages only I have to create, so I'm going to start that. Now after this discussion, what are the deliverables from the developer after this case study? SQL scripts for the stage tables, SQL scripts for the data warehouse tables, SSS package for stage, and packages for data warehousing, and ETL mapping document also you should be able to produce when you're designing a data warehousing for the ETL people. Deploying guide for the SQL scripts and SSS packages, this is also you have to create and submit at the time of releasing the product. So these are the deliverables from the case study. Now, what is the ETL mapping document? Let me tell you. Now, so ETL mapping document people may create in Excel sheets. Now, yesterday we were talking about the table structures, right? So in OLTP, we have a product table. So we have product ID name, and these are the data types, and this is a primary key, and this is not a primary key. Now, for the same table in OLAP or the data warehousing environment, you can say this is the data warehouse table, or you can say OLAP table, however you wanted to call it as. Now the table name is here dim product table. So for the PID here he'll be calling as a product key, name, product name, price is product price. Now integer everything is perfectly fine. But now when you see category ID is small int, which is not a this one, but when you come here, this is going to be changing category name and here varchar 50. Now what is the ATL business rule you need to apply? Now the business rule you need to apply, look up on, okay, look up on stage category master based on the category ID and get a category name and insert into this table. So what we have to do, because in the data warehousing, we told you that you have to combine the tables as much as possible so that the aggregations are much more faster. So you have to have normalization concept in OLTP, but denormalization concept of OLAP or data warehousing. So what I have done, we had a category table separately, but now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get the category name and I'm trying to dump it here. Okay, so let me quickly create a package for this. So this is this is the sheet people have to create for each and every table. One is for product, then you have a dim customer, then you have a dim time table, then you have a dim location table, then you have a fact sales table. So all the business ETL rules you have to talk. This is the primary key, or people are also calling as a business key. Okay, so this is a business key in this. Sometimes what is going to happen, this key people are going to make it as a primary key, but they insert they put a identity columns. Okay, okay, so when the destination table, for example, this you have, you're getting some data here. Okay, so let me give you, I have a product ID, I have a product name, I have a product price. Okay, I have one, I have pen, the price is 10. I have two, I have some pencil, I have price is 20 rupees, something like that. You have some data. Okay, when you have the data, and this data you're talking about is a primary key, and when you're dumping the data here, you are saying as a product key and product name and product price, everything is perfectly fine. But what they do is that here they're going to keep identity column. Identity means what? You're going to increment the, you're going to have the automatic numbers. So you should not take the data from here and dump it. So you take only this data only you're going to dump it here, but automatically numbers will start automatically from 1 to like this. So what is the problem of this kind of a, having in the data warehousing tables? So you're not taking these numbers, you're automatically incrementing these numbers. If tomorrow, whatever be the reason, you have deleted the data and you try to load the data, so this will be loaded. Okay, this will be loaded, and here the number will be starting with 3 and 4, because when you perform an identity column, when you delete the data, when you have inserted 1 and 2, you have deleted 1 and 2, again when you're going to insert the data, it is not going to get, take again 1 and 2, it is going to give you 3 and 4. So now, when you have identity columns like this, first, this is a wrong design and a pathetic design. So somebody, people will do like this, and here they create a primary key. Here also they create a primary key, and they are not taking this data, they're dumping it here, and they leave the data, they create a data automatic. So this kind of a design is a completely pathetic design, wrong design. If that is the case, you have to ensure that is there any other key in this, that any other column that can become a primary key or a business key in this? Okay, if this is an identity column, you never, even though it is declared as a primary key, but definitely you will not be able to take this as a primary key, and because you will not match, because this 1 and 3 will not match, never it will match. Try to understand this point. But if you don't have a primary key, you will not be able to perform incremental loading. So to perform incremental loading, the basic concept is the destination table and the source table should have a primary key, and that is a primary key here something. Here also you have a primary key, but the problem is this data is not coming here. If this data is not coming here, you are leaving this data and creating one more column, even though there is a primary key, and you will not be able to perform incremental loading. Many people will have a lot of issues. Now people will talk about, is there any other column? So sometimes, fortunately unfortunately, you may have some kind of a barcode. Are you getting my point? So barcode, you may have some hexadecimal numbers, some big numbers are there. So that would be, if you have a barcode, that people are going to say a business key. So primary key is something different. Okay, so business key could be, you may have one more column like this, you have to say business key. So whenever you're doing any kind of a calculations, so you never take this primary key and do any kind of a work. You have to take barcode, the same barcode data, it is going to come here. Okay, when you have same barcode data, you can compare this and do some kind of a incremental loading. So primary key is there, something key is something different, and now business key is something different, because the primary key, people are going to make it as an identity column. So when they make it as an identity column, which is a unique number, I cannot say you will not have duplicates. The purpose is lost. What is the purpose is lost? So here when you take a 3 and go, and when you go for 3 here, nothing is matching here. So this kind of an issues are going to come when you have a ETL things. So you need to have one more column. For example, in employee table, employee id, employee name, employee Aadhaar card number or social security number or a phone number. If the employee id, you're leaving and creating a new employee id as a primary key here in the destination table, definitely you will have issues. So remember this point always, and never in your diagrams, don't include in your solutions, never give identity column. If you give identity column, ensure that you should have one more candidate key that can act as a business key. Are you getting my point or not? So these are pretty much important to perform incremental loading and all. Clear, guys? Okay. Now, so you need to create a this kind of a document for all the tables, and this document also you have to give as a ETL designer. So you're a developer, you're a ETL developer. So you have to ask whenever you join the company, sir, do we have this kind of a diagram? So they will give you. So they'll give you OLTP database backup, sample database. They'll give you stage. If the stage is not there, at least you should be able to create the stage tables and all. And the ETL mapping document is very important. And they will be able to give you data warehouse scripts. They'll be able to give you, or if they are not going to give you, they have to create based on this diagrams and everything, and you have to make them ready. Clear? So now this ETL document I'm using, let me create a package for this. So go take a new package. So I'm going to rename this as data warehouse load dimension dot product, dim product. I am going to load. Okay. Now, first thing is that I have to take a data flow task, no truncation and insertion. Try to understand here. You have to perform incremental loading. So, take and drag and drop. You have to get the source data, OLEDB source, and double click on it. Now, stage is our source. Okay. Now, I think we have already stage, right? So, let me use this. Now, here I have to use a stage product. Okay, this is my data. Okay, now fine, and let me take destination table, OLEDB destination. Okay, now in the OLEDB destination I'm going to take, okay, and double click on this. Now I have to create a new one, that is, data warehouse. So server name is dot and database name is stage, not stage, DW, data warehousing server, and click on OK. Now the table name is dim product. Okay, when you click on mappings only, you will come to know. For the column names are not matched, so you need to go here and say product ID will become product key, name will become product name, so price will become this. But when you come down here, here you have a category ID, here you have a category name, but category ID is going to have numbers, but here you have to send category name. But how do you get the category name? So you not going to send like this will give you a lot of issues. Okay, now what we have to do, you should not be dumping the data as it is. Now you have to perform a lookup. So what is the lookup I have to do? Why we have to do means, because the data of pro category ID should not go, because here the table name is called category. When you go to the mappings, okay, here we have a category name. From here we're getting, so this one I have removed, so it's not coming. So I have to get the category name. For that, you have to take a lookup and drag and drop this, double click on this, go to this, redirect rows to no match output, and click on connection. Go to where is my category product? I have a category table in the stage. Okay, so now this table I'm having data, this I wanted to use. Okay, so now I have to say use stage. Now from this table I'm going to choose something, so this category I'm going to use it, so this category number I'm going to use. So when you take the product table, okay, okay, so when you have a these two tables, you will understand. So these two tables I have to perform a lookup operation. So this category ID, I am going to map with this category ID, get the category name. So that is the same thing I'm doing. So go quickly, and which is there in the stage, go to stage category. Okay. Now when you go to columns, what is that you need to map? Category ID you have to map and get category name. Okay, so never check this because I don't need this column, this is what I wanted to have, and click on OK. Now you get the data, and what data you wanted to send, matching data. Now double click on this. Now you go here, you have to use dim product and click on mappings. Now product ID, product name, then product price, and that's it. Okay, so whatever you have seen, the same thing I was talking about. So look up on stage category master based on the category ID and get the category name, and insert into dim product, and then insert into dim product table. This is what I have done it. Are you clear? So when we go here, that is the thing I have done it. Now let me save and run this package. So all the data will get dumped in this table. That is fine. But the issue is that we have to perform incremental loading. Tomorrow, I have only 50 today. It got inserted in this table. Now when I go to data warehousing table, now this is having now lot of data. Now use Amazon, right? So use Amazon and execute this. I'm able to get all the data. So tomorrow when you insert one row here, you should be able to get it, right? So now these things are very, very important and very, very mandatory to perform incremental loading for this. Okay, so incremental loading you should be able to perform S3D, or you should be able to get in anything else. Let me perform incremental loading with STD. Let me remove, and here I have to drag and drop, slowly changing dimensions. Okay, if it is not able to do, then we may use with lookup. Okay, so match data, double click on this, click next, and data warehouse table I have to choose, that is a dim product table. Now this you have to map. Okay, and this is a price, and the product key is PAD, and this is the business key. Okay, click next. So I wanted to perform category name not fixed, it is changing attribute, that is override changing attribute, and name and price, only two columns. These are changing attributes. Changing means what? You have to override. If the data is getting updated in the source table, category name or product price will get updated. That is what is the meaning of this. Okay, click next, click next, click finish, and that's it. So incremental loading I have performed. This destination is not at all important now. Okay, so automatically you will be able to get this mapping document automatically. Okay na? So this is insert, and you will have update. That's it. So whenever you change any price or something, so automatically which is going to change this. So 50 rows, no rows have been inserted because the data is already there. But if you update something, if you update, you go to a stage table, because already data into stage table, right? So you have a product master table. Let me update a price of the pen. Okay, because already we are using this one only, but normally in OLTP you need to update, and you need to run the package and get the data to stage. From stage it will go to this. I don't have time to do that, but you assume that you have people will update in OLTP only. Update here, I'm going to update something here. Okay, and set price equals to say 22 for where product ID equals to pen is 1. Okay, one row got updated, so it is 22. But when you go here, what is the price of this 18? Now let me save and execute the package. Okay, you are able to see one is got updated. Have you seen this? Now you stop debugging. When you go back and check, it should get dim product should get same kind of an issue. Okay, so now instead of a pen, you can also have product name if you wanted to update, or whatever you wanted to update, that you should be able to update and do it. Now one package I have performed incremental loading. So this is a lookup on, you can say that uh, lookup on category table, right? Category master table, and get category name. So you need to give beauty, nice comments like that. This is done. Now the next thing is that you have to go to the ETL mapping document. I have to perform this, and this column is not there, so I need not take anything. Simply incremental loading and dump the data. So here only these two columns are there, but I have three columns. This I have to remove the column and not at all dump the column. This is not at all required as of now. So let me take a package. One more package I'm taking. So go here, and data warehouse underscore load dimension dot customer. Okay, press enter, and get data flow task, double click on this. Now let me from here, let me rename this as sources Amazon stage. So this is destination underscore this. So let me control C and I have to paste it and control C. I'm going to paste. So when I'm pasting it here, I will be able to get take OLEDB source, double click on this, and the source is this. And this time the table name is customer master. I have this data. I'm not going to take city, so we'll talk about why I'm not leaving. So three columns, I don't want to take this. You can uncheck this. Okay, so you will not be able to get the data. So now you need to perform incremental loading, right? So for that purpose, directly you take slowly changing dimension. It will automatically give you the OLEDB destination. Try to understand. So OLEDB destination you did not have. It will automatically give you. So you take this, you take dim customer table, and this is the business key. Okay, so input column is called this one, business key, and here we have a name. It's pretty much simple, and you have to say name is a changing attribute. Changing means override. So if the changing data is getting modified, and you have to update it here. But slowly changing dimensions are slow. Why it is slow? When you have large amount of data, slowly changing dimensions are pretty much slow. Why? Because which is going to use OLEDB command transformation. OLEDB is going to perform row by row operations. Hence, these are bit slow. Try to understand. So instead of OLEDB, you can have execute SQL task. Okay, na? But automatically the slowly changing dimension is going to give you this kind of a thing. So if you have a limited data, then definitely you're going to consume much more time. But always you have to remove the this one and try to do with the lookup or merge, and try to do some kind of a trial and errors, and see the time, and you have to compare and do the best solution. Okay, but slowly changing dimension is slow because internally which is going to use OLEDB command transformation. Remember this point, because it's going to perform row by row operations. But whereas execute SQL task is going to perform batch operations, which are very, very fast. Now I have done, let me run this package. Okay. So first time 60 rows got inserted, but when you run the second time, which is not going to insert any data, let us go to a data warehousing. So data warehouse, the next table is called dim customer table, and this is ready. I have it 60 tables data. Fine. The next table dim location also we have done. I have the data already, and I have dim time table. I have data already. Now the next one is a fact sales table. I don't have any data, so you need to perform increment. There is no incremental loading in this, and there is no primary key in this. Okay, if there is no primary key, you know that performing incremental loading is difficult, right? But you have to use another way of incremental loading. But if the primary key is not there, incremental loading is difficult. You have only foreign keys. Okay. Now you have to go and take one more package. Now only full loading, there is no incremental loading. Remember this. So new and say data warehousing underscore load fact sales. Now get this and control C, and you go here and control V and drag and drop data flow task, double click on this OLEDV source, double click on it. Stage is the source for us, and you have to take a sales tape. Clear? Now columns also ready. Now it is full loading only, but let me take destination because I don't want to perform incremental loading. Nobody will perform. Okay, OLEDB destination. Double click on this. Now data warehousing. That table name is called fact sales. Now when you go to mappings, So product key will become PAD, customer key will become SID. Here you have a sale date, but here you have a sale date key. Okay. Now when you see the this one here, you have a DB timestamp. Date time values are here, but this is not a date time. When you click on this, it is a 4-byte signed integer. So now this is one issue, and sales amount is fine. Delivery date here, date key you have. Here you have location key, not at all there. Okay. So all data I'm not able to get it. Lot of thinking you need to do it. So what is that the ETL mapping document says? Let us understand. When you go to ETL mapping document, which says lot of things here. Okay. Product ID, you have a product key. This is a business key or primary key. Oh no, it's not a primary key, it's a foreign key, right? So it's not a primary key. So customer ID, which is not a primary key, here you have customer key, it's fine. The next one you need to talk about, sale date is a date time here. Okay, date and time. And when you come here, which is not a date and time, which is an integer, and they're saying very cleanly, look up on dim time table based on the full date and get date time, date key and insert into the sale date key. Okay, na? So now you need to perform that data. For example, when you see the data in stage, let me go to stage, and this is my table, right? Now you have to pick up this sale date, and this you have to compare this date, and you have to go to data warehouse this date. You need to compare. So that date and this date you need to compare and pick up this key. And what is this key? Let me say Alt F1. So Alt F1 is going to give you this key is integer. Okay, but full date is date time. Clear? So this you should be able to pick up and insert. So this is what is called lookup operation. I have to do it. Okay, na? Now I'm going to perform the same thing here for this and for the delivery date also. For example, when you go here, you have a delivery date key. So sale date key you need to do the lookup, and delivery date key also you need to do the lookup. For location key, and here also you have to do the lookups. Now, if the customer is buying something, okay, let me go here, and I have some data called customer ID number 2 or customer number 1. So customer number, there is no location where is he belong to, but where is the location for customer? The customer location for 1, let us understand. Okay. So for one customer location is Bangalore. Okay. So what you have to go for, you need to pick up a Bangalore. From where you need to pick up a Bangalore? You have to go to data warehouse and take this customer Bangalore, and this is a Bangalore, right? And pick up this number. That number you need to insert into this. Okay, na? So all these are somewhere people already written. So this is not there. Nothing is here, and this you need to perform these two operations. But last one there is no column at all. But this separate column people got added. But how do you get the data for this column? For that they have clearly told, look up dimension location table based on the city from stage customer master and get the location key and insert this into the location key and insert into fact table. Let us understand what is the meaning of this later. Before that, let me perform this lookup. Okay, so I go and I cannot insert because a lot of issues are there. Now when we understood something here, let me delete this. Okay, now let me perform a lookup. Let me take this lookup, and the first lookup is for sale date key. Okay, so look up on dim time and get sale date key. Okay, now double click on this, go here, go to connections, and a dim time table will be available in data warehouse. Remember this very carefully, dim time, and go here, and here sale date. So and full date we have to match. Okay, and get a date key. This date key you can say, you can rename this as a sale date key. You can rename like this. Okay, you can check. So this will be a sale date key for you. This is one lookup, you should do it. Okay, now let me take one more lookup. So this is delivery date. So matching data, you're going to take it. So now let me control C and rename it. It is delivery date key, right? Delivery date key. So double click on this, modify this, go to columns Amazon. So you can take dim time. If you don't need all the columns, for example, I need this one and this one. You can also write a query, full date and date key. You can also write a query like this. Okay, na? So you don't want to maintain everything. So I wanted to take only this data. Okay, you can put like this and say select only these two columns only I need. Okay, so control C or control X. We can also give whatever the columns that you need, that you should be able to preview it, because I don't want to keep remaining columns, right? So only take this again here delivery date, right? Delivery date and full date, get the date key, and here it is delivery date key. Okay, you can just rename it and done. Now after that, so you got delivery date and sale date, or a location key also you should get it. But to get the location, I am not able to get anything here. There is no location key or location name, nothing is there to get the location. Where is the location? Location is available when you just go here and get the data and go double click on this, go to fact sales table, and here uh, product id pid is fine, cad is fine, this is fine. Now this you are not getting anything here, because sale date delivery date is gone. Instead of this you got keys, but there is no location here. That is what is the problem. So for that I have to get a customer table I have to include, because it is not at all here that there is no location at all, but location is available only in this table. Which table? So customer master table, in this only location is available, but not in the data warehouse. Also I have removed it, right? And in this customer also this is not there. So I have to pick up the location of the customer from this table only. So this table I am going to include first. Okay, let me take this. Now take match data, and so look up on city. Okay, so look up on city and get a city id, something like this. Double click and go here and rows, go, and it is not in the DW. Try to understand, your table is available in staging, that is customer master, and this is the city. Okay, okay, you were able to get it. Now what is that you have to map? Are there anything that you have to map here? Okay, is there anything you can map? So first you should be able to map customer id and customer id and bring his city. Okay, and we don't have the customer id, so this is the customer id I have. Okay, so that means whatever be the customer id, now you go here. Okay, now you take the customer id, and this customer id you are giving it to this fellow, and this fellow, where is this fellow? And here you are going, you take the customer id from this table. So this table you take the customer id 1 and go to this table and pick up one, what is the city. So that is what I am doing it. So customer id I have to map it and get the city. Okay, so this is what I am doing it. So look up on customer ID and get city. Okay. What is the city for that guy? Now that city, whatever the city I'm getting, for example, I map, I get the city. This city, I am going to map. I am going to map with, these tables. This city, okay, and Bangalore I'm going to map, and pickup is the number. This number I'm going to store. Now the next lookup also I have to put one more lookup and take mapping data, and here lookup on city. Look up on city and get location key for that city. Okay, double click on this. Now this, go to connection. So go here, dim location table. Now go and city, we got it now. This city and this city, where is the city here? Okay, this city and this city you have to map it and get location key and click on OK. Now whatever you have mapped and this, you have to give it to this fellow. Now take this, click on OK, double click on this, go to mappings. So location key, we have a location key, product ID, SSID, sale date, quantity sold, sales amount, delivery date key, location key, everything is perfectly aligned and save and format. Let us do the diagram neatly. So this is my data. So this is my source table and lot of lookups I am doing, and at the end I am performing this. This is a full loading. Okay. Now let me perform this data and executing. I got some 33 rows. Now when you see the data here, you are able to get all the numbers. Okay, now here you have the number. This is a number, this is also number, this is everything is numbers only. Now location key. Okay, now for example customer key is a 10. Now let us go to who's 10. 10 is Mohit Sayed in New York. Okay na? So did we get the New Yorker? Same thing or not? Let us see. If you are not getting properly, there is a problem in the data that you have to debug it. So New York, let me go here and dim timetable. Randomly you need to check, right? So what is the number we have taken in that this one? So this one 10, we got 112, right? So 112, what is the thing? Let us see. New York, okay. So like that, you should be able to understand whether everything is happening or not. So here, normally what the people are going to do, once you load the data from OLTP to stage to this one, so they may delete the data in the OLTP. So OLTP will have again pure code data. Sometimes what they do is that they give you some kind of a intervals. For example, take data till today. So they'll give you one kind of a increment whenever they're getting the data. Whenever they're dumping the data, they say that you take the data from this date to this date. That is kind of incremental loading, but it is not actual incremental loading. So for example, every 10 days you have to dump the data. You have OLTP data, last 1 year data will be there. So they'll say first let me insert last 1 month data. They'll give uh, less than February 1, that means Jan 31st, and the starting date is 1st to 31st. Like that they'll dump the data. Again after that they'll say March 1st to February 1st to February 20th. So like that they'll have some date time parameters. They may dump it, or they may dump full data and they delete the data from the OLTP, so that OLTP data base size will get reduced. So before dumping, removing the data from OLTP, they take a backup and they dump it. But As an ETL guy, you will not be able to go to source and you will not be able to dump, delete everything. Nothing can be done. You will only dump the data. You see that. So you have 5,000 rows in source, and the data I have dumped is 5,000. So ensure that number of rows in source table equivalent to number of table is destination table. So these kind of a logging things you should be able to update, or you should be able to do it on your things. So logging I did not implement, but you should be able to implement them here so that you would understand this is number of records inserted, number of records loaded, something like this, that you should be able to perform the operations. Clear, guys? So now my data warehouse is ready with all tables. Okay. Now these are the tables I have. Now I have data here. Yes. 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 That's it. So you can see what is the schema of this data warehouse. Refresh, go here, right click, new database diagrams. Now select all the tables which you have it. I have only approximately 5, but in the real time you have many tables, right? Okay. Now what kind of a schema it is? This is called star schema, because dimension tables are directly linked to the fact tables. Now, if you see, dim time table is having two primary keys and two foreign keys. Now, primary key, this is taking as a one is delivery date key. The same table date key will be taking as a delivery date key. So you have two links are established. Okay, na? So when you have this kind of a linking in the data warehouse, and this dimension is table is called as a role play dimension table. Okay, what is role play? For example, in a movie, the same hero acting as a hero, the same hero acting as a villain, so he is playing two roles. Now the same dimension table is supplying a data for sale date, the same dimension table is supplying the data for the delivery date. So when you have this kind of a two primary key foreign key relationships, when you see, this dimension table is called as a role play dimension table. Okay, but here I have only one link. Now dim time is called as a role playing dimension when you have more than one primary key foreign key relationship, and that will be called as this. For example, you may have a city of the customer and you may have a city of the dealer, something like this we have. Okay, so dealer city is also you wanted to have one location key for the dealer. One location key is the customer location key. One more location key is from which dealer the product has been supplied. Okay, so dealer location key. So you may have two like this. Now the dim location table. Now the dim location table in that time will be called as a role playing dimension table. Am I clear, guys? So this is how you have to dump the data, and with help of ETL mappings, with the help of everything, and then you should be able to perform. Once the data warehouse is ready, the next one is we have to start with the cube operations. Okay. So now then once development is ready, you need to test it. So number of rows, number of columns are properly done or not. Everything you need to test, and the same thing will be replicated to the production. So testing, they will be verifying everything, and the production they're going to release your data warehousing everything. Then it is done. Clear? So this is how the tables will be dumped from OLTP to stage, from stage to data warehouse. And you may have complex operations also. I had given a couple of things in the Amazon case study, but you may have some more things that you can include. So for loop, for each loop, and all of them. And this packages also you should be able to call them. And however, yesterday we had done, right? You can create one separate package and call them everything. But in the production, one table may have large amount of data, they may have different schedules and load the data. But remember one point, how do you load the data into data warehousing? What do you say? You have to load the data to the dimension tables first. So whenever you create a jobs, so 6 o'clock you run dimension table data, and 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock you have to dump the next fact table data. When you have primary key and foreign keys, dimension data will get dumped first, then the fact table data will be dumped. That is how the jobs will be created after deploying the packages to the SSIS DB. Okay, that I think you should be able to do it. So I'm not repeating the same stuff today. Thank you guys. And one more thing I did not implement in this, you need to implement logging, and you need to implement, remaining things, security and all of them. People have to take care, and performance tuning also people have to take care, and they create a deployment guide. Lot of things you have to create and release them. Okay. So thank you so much. Any questions?